I am in the Principality of Monaco, the world's second smallest country, and technically, actually smallest country. The Vatican's iffy. But we are, of course, not here for the world-famous architecture and class, sophistication, wealth you'll find here in Monaco. We're, of course, here for the national sandwich at a classic Monegasque cafe, Costa Monaco.
A brief history of Costa Monaco. To clarify, Costa Monaco is not a sandwich, but rather a chain of cafes from Monaco, because finding a specific sandwich for just Monaco is very hard, because Monaco is very small. The whole country is only about 2 kilometers and can be walked across in about an hour or driven in 1 minute and 9 seconds if you're Lando Norris. Due to its lack of size, the variety of sandwiches is lacking, so it's hard to find a definitive Monegasque sandwich. But Monaco is home to the cafe chain Costa Monaco, or just Costa as the locals call it. Not to be confused with the UK chain Costa Coffee, which has almost 4,000 locations in 38 countries. Costa Monaco has 8 locations in one country, Monaco. They offer a variety of baked goods, from French pastries, Italian breads, and of course, sandwiches. Now, you might be thinking, why does a cafe only in Monaco make food from both France and Italy? Well, aside from proximity, it has to do a lot with the history of Monaco. And of course, when it comes to Monaco, that all starts with the Grimaldi family. In the year 1297, a Genoese family called the Grimaldis were in the middle of a conflict between the papal and imperial authority in the Holy Roman Empire. The Grimaldis were aligned with the Pope, and thus were sent to capture a fort on the Rock of Monaco, an important imperial stronghold. Led by Francisco Grimaldi, they disguised themselves as monks and asked for refuge in the fort. After being let in, they promptly stabbed everyone and captured Monaco. The Grimaldis have been ruling Monaco more or less ever since. It officially became independent after recognition by the King of France in 1512, and after a brief adventure with the Spanish, the Monegasques signed an alliance with the French, linking the two nations thanks to the diplomatic work of the first official prince, Henri II. This lovely alliance lasted until France started killing all their kings, which kicked off about a century and a half of ping-pong between France and Italian rule over Monaco and the Côte d'Azur in general. 1793, French revolutionaries annex and invade Monaco to France, but after the defeat of Napoleon, Monaco is placed under Sardinian protection. Then the revolutions of 1848 come and Monaco loses about half of its land to an entirely new protectorate. But then, of course, after the Italo-Austrian War, the Italian king, Vittorio Emanuele II, ends up giving the land to the French Emperor Napoleon III. In exchange for France annexing these breakaway states, they recognized Monegasque sovereignty officially in 1861, just in time for the prince to build a massive casino to make some money after losing all that land. Then there was a casual revolution, a succession crisis, and it all went back to being a French protectorate. Then, in World War II, Italy ends up invading and annexing Monaco to fascist Italy, before finally ending the ping-pong between France and Italy in 1944 with full independence again. 20 years later, in 1964, Costa finally opens, making baked goods from Monaco's time under both French and Italian influences, including their sandwiches. Although there's no official sandwich, I picked what I consider to be the most Monegasque. Focaccia bread, originally from Genoa, just like the Grimaldi family, similar to the Florentine scocciata from the Italy video. And then in the middle, Parisian-style ham with Emmental cheese, 2 classic ingredients from Le Croque Monsieur from the France video. Both of these cuisines combined in a classic Monegasque company, only available in the Principality, and we're gonna try it right
Here in Monaco, well, technically Monte Carlo, in front of the Monte Carlo Casino, the heart of the Monegasque economy. But of course, there's so much happening here in the city of Monaco, and we're gonna try that delightful sandwich. And here we are in Costa Monaco, the traditional Monegasque cuisine. Okay, they only have locations here in the Principality, the official branding. And here you have the combination of flavors. Of course, Monaco, right between France and Italy, was ruled by both. Now it's completely separate from both, but of course, the influence is still there. We have, of course, an Italian focaccia. Focaccia is from Genoa, which is just across the way. And then, of course, inside you have fromage with the ham, the traditional sort of French with the baguette with, cheese, fromage, all comes together. Combination of Italian, French, Monegasque. So here we go, the official sandwich of Monaco from Costa Monaco. Bon appetit. I mean, you can't go wrong, any of these things. The French, as you know, make fantastic cheese. The Italians, as you know, make fantastic bread. It's that combination for generally a great price. The spot here, very local. Most of the people who come in here are from Monaco. And kind of the fact that it's not really that pretentiousness you find in the rest of Monaco. It's not fancy, it's not chic. It's just good food for less on a beautiful street. I mean, it's stunning, folks. Yeah, if you want a cheap meal alternative in Monaco, a more classic combination of Italian and French flair here in the lovely Montagasseville, then I would say a fantastic choice. I'm gonna go enjoy this. Well, there you have it. That was the sandwich. But as I've mentioned many times, Costa Monaco, the sandwiches in general, are not really what you come to Monaco for. Although being very Monegasque, most people come to Monaco and know Monaco for one thing, being the Monaco Grand Prix from Formula One. Of course, here's the famous hairpin turn that the drivers dramatically turn around this little tight corner as they go around the entire Principality. But there's so much more to Monaco than just F1 and money. So let's go see some Monegasque culture.
Okay, I know I said there's more going on than just F1, but it's very important to mention because for the 4 days it happens, Monaco's population octuples. Hosting a Grand Prix almost every year since 1929, F1 is Monaco's most popular sport. Not only hosting, but producing famous drivers like Charles Leclerc and Louis Charon. In addition to racing, Monaco also has a football team, and not like a FIFA national team, I mean like a literal football club that plays in France's Ligue 1, whose roster has included some of the world's most famous players like Thierry Henry, George Weah, and Kylian Mbappe, who's famously not fastest in the cars.
I think you're fast enough to beat these cars down to the first corner.
No, I'm not faster than the cars.
There's more to bet on than just sports in Monaco with the world-famous Monte Carlo Casino, which is a beautiful building and much like the rest of Monaco is divided by tax bracket. Maybe a tax bracket's a bad analogy because Monaco residents famously don't pay any income tax, which makes it a very popular place for really rich people to move to, bringing in their fancy yachts, fancy cars, and fancy condos. Unless you're French, then you still have to pay because Monaco does not want to be blockaded again. Due to the world's wealthiest people all moving in, Monegasque citizens only make up about a fourth of the country, with each one being approved by the prince. In general, there's stuff about the royal family kind of everywhere in Monaco, from royal crests to pictures of the prince, lots of stuff about Grace Kelly, and of course the famous palace guards. Maybe the only thing more Monegasque than the prince is barbéjane, a kind of national dish that is a fried ravioli with spinach and cheese. It is fantastic and also available at Costa.
Well, there you have it. Monaco at the palace of Albert II, the Prince of Monaco, who really puts the prince in principality. But of course, as you've seen throughout this, Monaco is a place of contrast. You know, it's a place where expensive things happen, from expensive car races, expensive gambling, and just expensive lifestyles on the beautiful Côte d'Azur. But it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because what being Monegasque means is a whole lot more than just the money or the wealth or the prestige. It comes with the culture and the food and the customs, and just a small part of that might be their national sandwich from Costa Monaco.